TikTok was banned for like 13 hours in the United States, and everyone I know is treating it like 9/11. But the thing that aggravated me arguably more than that is the US government being like, oh, you gotta sell TikTok or we'll ban it. What I don't think people, let alone the US government, understands is that the United States, quote unquote, relies more on TikTok than TikTok does on us. And just a complete lack of general knowledge or common sense from the people on Capitol Hill, as well as maybe even a little bit of a mix of like that American patriotism, the we're the best mindset, is kind of the reason that we're like looking over that. Because TikTok, unfortunately, is a daily part of my life. Like if I want entertainment, it's right there on my phone. It's not the medieval age. We're not in the dark era anymore. You don't have to whistle for a jester to come dancing into your court hall so he can shit in his hands and then clap in front of you and you're like, oh, that's amazing. And a lot of Americans use it, with there being over 160 million TikTok accounts created based in the country of the United States. And what the whole you need to sell TikTok thing comes down to is, well, it's a problem with US security. How can we know that a Chinese company isn't exploiting American information? Okay, the Chinese know that I like fat bitches shaking ass. What are they going to do with that information? But anyways, it's a data security issue is basically what it boils down to. And considering there's so many people in the United States that use it, that kind of makes an understandable reason for them having such a concern about it. However, one, the app is secure, and B, the Americans aren't as important in this scheme as they think they are, because as much as we use TikTok on a daily basis, their parent company, ByteDance, only marks TikTok at about 20% of their projected revenue for the next year. So even if they did sell off TikTok, it may be their largest cash pull, but all of their other resources together fucking fourfold it. Everything else that ByteDance owns pulls in 80% of their revenue. I don't think TikTok is that important to them as much as it is to us. Also, for the United States to be like, well, we just won't let people install the app anymore if you don't sell your company. I promise you they could care less. You might see English-based content, or maybe even Spanish-based content, depending on how you grew up, because that's what you grew up with, that's the shit you interact with all the time. But the US only makes up about 17% of TikTok's user database. As a matter of fact, we aren't even the most users per country. Indonesia is, by over 30 million more than us. We're not sticking it up ByteDance's ass by telling them to sell. Even if ByteDance did sell, it would be a blow, but it wouldn't be enough for them to be like, oh no, we gotta figure something out quick. And even if they don't sell it and the US stops, they still have like 82% of their active user base. The US is not as important in the grand scheme of TikTok as they think they are, and letting our government officials on Capitol Hill just sound fucking stupid. Have you seen the compilations of US government politicians looking fucking idiotic in those hearings? Remember the one where they asked the founder several times if he was affiliated with the communist, and they just kept asking, assuming that he would eventually crack and be like, now that you mention it, I think I am communist, holy shit. And don't get me wrong, there's some people in their 30s and 40s, some people my dad's age there, but a lot of it is just old people. Did you know that despite the US median age by population being 38 years old, that the average age of someone in Congress is 58.3 years old, and the average age of a senator is 64 years old, with, get this, over 20% of those representatives on Capitol Hill being over the age of 70, and under 6% of them being under the age of 40. Now, don't get me wrong, although I may not agree with them all the time, some of our senior members of government have done very well, passed great laws, bills that have helped a lot of people, and their wisdom and insight can be used. But, in God bless her soul, I love her, I have to help my grandma open the camera app on her phone. And she's the same age as some of these politicians. And you're letting them to decide what we allow in our country and what's a security data breach on the interweb, the World Wide Web. Half of these people have made it very clear that they do not know what they're talking about. For instance, this is Mitch McConnell. He is one of the senators for the state of Kentucky, and as of this year, he will have been the senator for the state of Kentucky for 40 years and is the longest serving senator in the state of Kentucky. This is his 7th consecutive term, meaning no one has been in there in front of him. Let this man retire. He's 82. Is this like a running joke in the state of Kentucky that everyone's like, yes, throw that old man back on the ballot, yes. Now, Mitch McConnell during his career has made tremendous strides in and for the Republican Party, and I personally have nothing against him. I stand pretty much in the middle on most political subjects. However, in my opinion, he is a prime example of why there should be a limit to how old you can be in Congress. Mitch McConnell is 82 years old, and when the most pertinent piece of information that pops up when you research your senator is that he had a fall recently, I feel like he really shouldn't be in office anymore. Also, little fun fact about Mitch McConnell, he just randomly freezes.
Is your head okay, Senator? Is your head okay after that fall? Senator?
Mitch McConnell just randomly freezes like Black Beatles by Ray Shremmerd is playing, and he is the only one in the room that can hear it.
Is your head okay? Senator? Is your head okay after that fall?
And here's another instance, because this has happened more than once.
What are my thoughts about what?
Running for re-election in 2026.
Oop, I don't really want to answer that question. Maybe if I just stand perfectly still, maybe he'll forget he asked.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election?
Oh, Peggy, you bitch. But, yeah, anyways, TikTok is probably not going anywhere for a while, and even if it does, it's not going to be the end of the world for ByteDance, because the US is not as important in the grand scheme as they think they are. Also, let me know in the comments, do you believe that there should be an age cap on US politicians? Because it is staggeringly high how many old folks are in Congress. And that's not necessarily saying that I think old people aren't good at what they do. But there's a certain point where you have to know to just throw in the towel and be done, I think. That doesn't mean that you didn't do anything good for America. That doesn't mean you weren't good at your job. And I mean this in the kindest way possible. Just let the people who are actually going to be there for the distant future step in at some point. Anyways, I promise I'm usually not political if this is the first video you've seen by me. I just really needed to get it off of my chest, however. So, if you guys ended up actually enjoying this video, please feel free to like it and share it with a friend, because if you enjoyed, they might also. Be sure to follow me on my other social medias, and without further ado, be good people, and peace out.
You don't know my name, she heard don't call me YK. I just let the bank, couple hundreds in your face. Bust a chase around.